Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Youngmonster3, and what do you know? It's time for another pretty big update video actually. So there's gonna be VHS tapes, DVDs, and Blu-rays, and I'll start with the two VHS tapes that I picked up. And also, I would say that the I've tried to put all of the horror DVDs in one section of the video, and then the other ones pretty much randomly. And the same goes for the Blu-rays. I'm gonna try to pick the or put the horror Blu-rays along with each other, and then the other ones with each other. So if that makes any sense. But anyway, let's begin with the two VHS tapes. First up, we have Sapped Again. Of course, you can't see because the lighting here is shit, even though it's so bright outside. Sapped Again. This is a sequel to the first Sapped from 1982 or 83, I believe, which I thought was pretty good. I mean, this is a really nice little sequel. And I also really appreciated the cameos from Karen Black and Linda Blair. I just wish Linda Blair had a larger role in this, really. So, but anyway, it's a fairly entertaining film. And then we have, let's see what it's called, In the Custody of Strangers, which is a made-for-TV film from the early 80s, from 1982. So, and really the main reason why I wanted to get this was because of Emilio Estevez, because both Emilio and his father Martin Sheen is in this one. But this is one of the very last Emilio Estevez films that I did not have in the collection. The other ones being The War at Home and his latest one, I believe, The Public, I believe it's called. So, and I also hear rumors that they're working on a third Young Guns film. I don't really know how that will even work out, considering how the second one ended. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So then we continue with the update. Now people are probably going to laugh at me for this, or at least some of you. I've never seen any of these films, and I know they are like considered as classic comedy films, even though I've heard really bad things about some of them. But I thought, well, I'm gonna give them a shot and see if I like them or not. But the movies are the American Pie films from 1 to 4, I believe. Yeah, I think I've seen glimpses of like 1 or 2. I'm not really sure, but what I saw of the film, I did not really like too much. But then again, it was just a small glimpse of it, and didn't watch the entire film all the way through. So I mean, it might still be entertaining. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I basically picked them up because they're considered like classics nowadays. So yeah. Now let's see here. We have to put this stack up here. Oh, of course. Did you see that? I almost completely failed and dropped every single move right here. Let's see. It's beginning to get a little bit stuck right here. Now let's see. Oh, damn. So the first one is a Western film with Paul Newman in the film called Billy the Kid, the Left-Handed Gun. I've always been fascinated by Bill the Kid in general, and that whole storyline, like I mentioned before, Young Guns. I mean, both those films are really one of my favorite like westerns of all time. So I thought, well, I need to get this. This is from 58, I believe. Yeah, 58. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Now we have a film that I think I might have had before. I gave it away or something. I'm not really sure, but it's a Chuck Norris film from the mid '80s called Firewalker. Yeah. And let's see here. And then we have a film called Red Corner, I believe it's called, with Richard Gere. Late '90s thriller action type film. So yeah, couldn't say no to that. Now let's see here, like that. And then this cover art had me laughing because it has David Carradine on the front cover and it's out of focus. I thought that was really hilarious, and that's really the main reason why I picked up this one to begin with. Attack Force Nam. You just look at that cover art. It looks really cheesy and really stupid. I had to pick it up. Then we have... Oh, here we go. It's not even like the English title anywhere. Oh, I don't know. This film? I mean, it comes with English language, but I don't really know what the English title is. Apagon en Nueva York. En film de Eddie Matalon. Is this a Yeah, this is apparently a Spanish release, but I have no idea what the title is. Oh, sorry. Then we have a film with Cynthia Rothrock called Lady Dragon. I'm a big fan of Cynthia Rothrock. I think she is amazing in most films that she appears in. I mean, the films themselves might not be the greatest, but I think she is a really cool like action actress. So yeah. Then we have a double pack with a film called Impulse and Knights of the City. The main reason why I picked up this double pack was because of Knights of the City, because it's a mid-80s action crime comedy. Can't really know, categorize it. It's such a weird ass film. It's about this rap group that wants to get some sort of it wants to get some kind of record deal, and I had no idea this was on DVD up until I saw this double pack. It's such a weird ass film, and I think it's also produced by one of those mobsters back in the day. It's like the Italian Francesi, Michael Francesi. I think that's his name. Impulse. I've not heard anyone about any. I've not heard anyone. Damn. Sorry. I've not heard anyone talk about Impulse. This is the one with William Shatner. So yeah, 70s thriller, I believe. Then finally I picked up this one. This is definitely considered a classic, and the movie is called 12 Angry Men with Henry Fonda, I believe it is. Yeah, it is Henry Fonda. Or is it? Yeah, it's Henry Fonda, of course. Stupid. Then we have Hell in the Pacific. And this is an old Anchor Bay release. This is with Lee Marvin and Toshiro Mifune. Toshiro Mifune. Can't really pronounce his name, but yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Then we have Breezy, which I think is directed by Clint Eastwood. Yeah, it's directed by Clint Eastwood. A drama, romance type film. I thought that was really interesting. So, and yeah, Clint is always Clint, so can be interesting. Then we have another Paul Newman Western type film called Ombre. Yeah. Then this is pretty much like a blind buy. Also, one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this was because of that it's based on true events. So yeah, Things Behind the Sun. Never heard anyone talk about this one, and thought the storyline caught my interest, so to say. So yeah. Then we have Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd in Spies Like Us. Yeah. Now, these two I've seen before. I had no idea these were released in Sweden up until I found them on the internet. The first one is The Mirror by Andrei Tarkovsky, which is one of my favorite directors, really. I mean, his movies aren't really for everyone, but for those of you who do tend to like his films, I mean, this is one of his best in my opinion. Really weird and really great. I mean, his cinematography is just truly amazing. So yeah, The Mirror by Andrei Tarkovsky, and then we have the other Tarkovsky film I picked up called Ivan's Childhood. Did not like this one as much as The Mirror, but still a really special type of film, really. So yeah, Ivan's Childhood. Then we have the so-called Smokey and the Bandit Part 3, which doesn't even have like Burt Reynolds in it, or that's what I've been told. So I don't really know how they're going to continue without Burt Reynolds. That just sounds weird. The first one is such a great film. The second one was alright, and this one I've only heard bad things about. But I mean, I thought, well, let's just get to complete that trilogy. And the next one is called Voyage of the Damned. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Now when I come think of it, I think I actually might have showed you some of these films before. Let me know if you recognize any of these films in this video. And the next one is called The Killing Time with Kiefer Sutherland. This is an 80s thriller type film. And I have to say, I really hate this cover art. The cover art is awful, really awful in my opinion. And that's not what I usually say about cover arts from the 80s in general. I mean, this whole face type of thing, like put a bunch of faces on the front cover and that's it. That just feels more 90s to me. But yeah, The Killing Time. Picked it up because of Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland. Then we have, this is a sequel to a warrior's, no, Soul of the Warriors, Warrior, Once We Were Warriors, I believe it's called. And this is called What Becomes of Broken Hearted. Yeah, the sequel to that with Chimura Morrison. Then we have an 80s classic, or at least I've been told. It's called Who's That Girl with Madonna. This film is pretty hard to come across, and I thought, well, I need to get a hold of this before it goes for even more pricey prices, really. So, yeah. And the next one is a film by Brian De Palma with John Travolta and Nancy Allen, of course, yeah. Blowout from the early 80s. So, yeah, couldn't say no to that. So, yeah. We continue. The next one is an animated film from the early 80s, which I've always wanted to see. It's sort of like I've been told this is like about it's like a rock group, and there's some sort of villain that just wants to ruin it for them or something. The film is called Rock and Rule. Once again, when it comes to color arts, this is really amazing. Yeah, this was pretty tricky to get a hold of, but I'm glad I found it. Then we have this is actually a DVD and Blu-ray combo pack, but I decided to put it in this section of the video anyway. This is limited to 333 copies, and the movie is called Born to Win. This is directed by, of course, what's his name? Bruno Mattei, of course. He knows his schlocky 80s action films in general, so yeah. Couldn't pass on that. Then we have The American Friend with Dennis Hopper. Yeah, only heard really good things about that one. And then we have another one which I think is considered a classic. I'm not too sure if this is the very first adaptation of this story or if there's been anyone before this, but this is the film called Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty, I can't ever pronounce his name, and Faye Dunaway. Yeah, this is from 1967. It might have been adapted like one time before that. I'm not really sure about that, but yeah, please let me know about that. Then we have an early 2000s made-for-TV thrillers. What do you know, made-for-TV films? You don't really hear that term very much anymore. So, and the movie is called The Perfect Husband. Now, the main reason why I wanted to get this was because I have a film called The Perfect Bride, I believe, which I thought was really interesting, and I had no idea. I mean, I was just assuming this had something to do with that film, but apparently not. But still, I mean, it has a really nice title, and I kind of like the cover art. Even, I mean, as simple as it is, I really like the cover art anyway. So yeah. Then we have Orson Welles in The Third Man. Yeah, there we have it. And it's a Studio S release, so yeah, really like Studio S releases in general, so yeah. And then we have some weird ass, is this Filipino, I believe? Both of these films are directed by Bobby Suarez, who I think made a bunch of like women in prison type films in the 70s and 80s, alongside Sergio Santiago and what's his name, Jack Hill, I believe. Yeah, it just feels like that in a way. And the movies are One Armed Executioner, and They Call Her Cleopatra Wong. All heard really funny, entertaining stuff about these two films. Can't wait to finally check them out. And then this is another 80s film that I've been on the hunt for quite some time, and I finally got it. And the movie is called The Last Dragon. Yeah, martial arts, mid-80s action film. Couldn't pass on that, so yeah. Then we have a film called Call Him Mr. Shatter. I believe it's also known as just Shatter, but this cover art really sold it for me. Yeah, I've heard this is supposed to be like a so bad it's good type of film, so that's the main reason. Also, the main reason why I want to get it. Then we have the film called Fire on Fire, which looks like an 80s like action women in prison type film. And something that just had me burst out laughing with this was the back of this, because if you look at that, look at Oliver Reed. He looks exhausted and he looks like he just doesn't want to be there. But yeah, Fire on Fire. Then we have Cry of a Prostitute with Henry Silva and Barbara Boucher. Can't pronounce her name, but yeah, always wanted to see this. I know this had like I think it's a pretty new DVD and Blu-ray release, or maybe it's just a Blu-ray release, and I figured that the Blu-ray release was region coded A, so which means that I can't watch that. I can only watch region free like DVDs, like region 1 DVDs, region 2, region 4, yeah, whatever you say. But yeah, this one I've heard really good things about, so yeah. But it seems like this is some sort of like VHS transfer, or at least that's what I get the vibes from the back of the DVD. So yeah. The next one is Kickboxer 3 and Kickboxer 4. I did have Kickboxer 3 in that 4-pack before, but the main reason I wanted to get this double pack was because of Kickboxer 4. I don't really have any bigger interest in Kickboxer 5 unless I'm a big fan of Part 4. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, because I've not seen any of these before. The first one is of course the greatest one out of the ones, like the first two that I've seen. The second one was kind of lackluster and didn't really like the main actor, who's also in these two films, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I really hope for a more interesting storyline to go along with those films, so yeah. Then we have, this is probably my first film ever from the country of Jamaica. What do you know? Jamaica, man. Of course. The film is called Third World Cop. And what a crazy cover art for that. I believe the main... Is this the same guy? No, it's not. It kind of looked like Keith David there for a second, but I don't think it is. Where is it? I could have swore that was Keith David. Of course it doesn't say on the back, but yeah, anyway, I don't think it is, so yeah. Then the next one is called Election. I watched this on TV for the first time and I thought this was really entertaining and really funny, and Matthew Broderick is so amazing in this. I just kind of wonder whatever happened to him. It just seems like he was in tons and tons of films in the 80s and 90s, and then it just feels like he just went off the radar really. So but yeah, this is really great. So yeah, Election. Then the next one I mainly picked up because it's a Code Red release, and you know I collect those type of releases from that company in general. And the movie is called The Face with Two Left Feet, which is a really weird title. And just based on this cover art, you can tell it has to be some sort of Italian ripoff on Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta. Because if you look at the back of this, the main character, he looks very similar to John Travolta, or at least in my opinion. So yeah, the Face with Two Left Feet. So yeah. Then we have Mel Brooks triple pack in a way, with 3 films. First one being Silent Movie Land, High Anxiety, and To Be or Not to Be. I'm not too sure if all of these are directed by Mel Brooks himself, but Mel Brooks shows up in every one of these 3 films, so yeah. Yep, Mel Brooks collection. And oh, of course, here we go again with the titles. I should have looked this up before. This is by Sergio Garrone. Maybe if you recognize the cover art. Una lunga fila di croci. Probably butchered that title, but yeah, that's the Italian title. So if you type this into IMDb or Letterboxd or whatever thing you use, you might find it. So yeah, that's why I held on it for a little too long maybe. Then we have Spectres. This is by Paul Verhoeven. I think this might be one of his earliest films before he broke into Hollywood really. And I think I might have seen this before. I'm not really sure, but this is from 1980. Yeah, 2 hours. Damn, 2 hours long. It's going to be interesting to see. Then we have a film which I've only really heard good things about, and the movie is called 21 Gram. 21 Gram. Don't you say 21 grams? Well, 21 gram anyway, so yeah. That's it. So now we move on to the horror type films, really. So yeah, the first one is actually a hard box. This was the only way I could get a hold of this film. And the movie is called Midnight Ripper. I think this is known as something else as well, but this is directed by Lamberto Bava, who is of course the son of Mario Bava, who directed also Demons and Demons 2. So yeah, and this is a slasher giallo type film that I've been on hunt for ages. So I was so glad when I finally found that. And then we have some Japanese sleaze, probably. The movie is called Blind Beast. Yeah, look at that. Then we have, this is from Indonesia, this film. This film is called Modus Animali. I'm not sure, I think that might be the original title, or no, I think it has some sort of like alternative title as well. But yeah, if you type this in on IMDb or Letterboxd, you can find that other English title probably. Then we have a film called Subterrano. Probably butchered the title, but yeah, with a title like that and with a cover like that, I couldn't pass on it. It's some early 2000s survival type film about some sort of creature going around killing people. So yeah, I had to pick it up. Let's see here. I have to move up just a little bit. Then we have this one. This is actually sort of like a bare bone release, apparently, of the film called The Incredible Melting Man, which I've been told is really boring. Really, that's what I've been told. But then again, I mean, I thought, well, I need to get a hold of this because I think this is one of those films that were banned in Sweden back in the day. So I thought, well, I need to watch this at least once. So I decided to pick it up, and this is a very bare bone DVD release of it because I think the Arrow Blu-ray went for stupid money. So yeah. Oh, then we have this one. I'm going to be hated for this. I don't really understand why people hate this film. I know very many people do. But I really enjoy this for some reason. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But The Card Player by Dario Argento. This is from the early 2000s, I believe. 2000 and... Of course, it doesn't say anywhere. I believe it is from 2003 or 2004, but yeah, I've only heard people bash on this a whole lot, but I thought this was actually pretty good. I mean, it's far away from Dario Argento's best work, I can agree with that, but I don't think it is as bad as people make it out to be. So yeah, The Card Player. Then we have a giallo, which I've been told is a really, really sleaze fest. The movie is called The Sister of Ursula. This is released by Severin Films, so yeah. And this one seems to be very, very obscure. This is some sort of shot on video, straight to, I mean, some really low budget shot on video horror film from the early 90s. Some sort of anthology film. The film is called Scary Tales. A really weird looking cover art, but yeah. Then we have another Lamberto Bava film called, is this Lamberto Bava, by the way? Yeah, Lamberto Bava film, of course. Body Puzzle. This is from the early 90s. I thought I mixed this up with another film called Puzzle, which I had before, but that was like a 70s one. So yeah, Body Puzzle by Lamberto Bava. Then we have Delirium, which is not to be confused with Lamberto Bava's Delirium, because Delirium by Lamberto Bava came out in like 87 or something, and this one came out in the 70s, and you should not confuse this one with the other Delirium, which came out in 79. I think this one actually came out in 72 or 73. So yeah, there's 3 films called The Delirium, or at least what I've been told and what I've found out about. So yeah, Delirium. Then we have the Coffin Joe collection with 9 Coffin Joe films. I've not seen a single Coffin Joe film before, and I think all of these are Portuguese films, so this might also be my first Portuguese films in my collection, really. So yeah, and I really like the cover as well. Yeah, of course, there's some weird sleeves on the front cover as well, so yeah, what do you know? So then we continue. This might be more of an action sci-fi type film, but decided to pick it up because it has Mark Dacascos in it, and the movie is called DNA. I think it's called something else as well, but yeah, that's what they call it right here, and I really like the cover art as well. So yeah, DNA. Then we have this one. This is probably going to be with a bunch of glare because, yeah, I haven't taken off the plastics from this one yet, but Formula for a Murder. Yeah, right there. This is another slasher giallo type film that I've been on the hunt for quite some time, and I think this is the only way to get this film, like in this particular release, like the Shameless release. So, yeah, that's about it. Then we have Satan's, I think it's called Satan's Baby Doll. I think that's the English title of this one. Where is it? Yeah, I think it is. I can't show you the back because of nudity, so yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Then we have Jack Nicholson and Boris Karloff in the film called Terror. I think this came out in like '63 or something. I think I might have this one in some like big box set or something because I believe this might be a public domain film. So yeah, Terror. Then we have a film called 13 Cameras. The cover art really caught my attention. Looks like some sort of serial killer type film. Apparently this has some sort of sequel as well, but I was backing out from buying that one because I wanted to watch the first one before I decide if I want to give the second one a chance. So yeah. So the next one is, we have some killer creature films right here. The first one being The Killer Elephants. Really amazing looking cover art. This seems to be very obscure. This is a very weird and odd looking new to films release. Might be one of the very first ones they released, but yeah, The Killer Elephants. Then finally I picked up the original King Kong. I kind of wish I could have get a hold of the Studio S release because I think the Studio S release also had like a documentary and bunch of extras to it. This is pretty much like a bare bone edition. I mean, it does have two different versions in it. I mean, it has the original version and the colored version. I usually just avoid the colored version, at least when it comes to older films, because when they were black and white, that's what they were meant to be to begin with. So that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, King Kong. I've only seen Peter Jackson's remake, and I've also seen that King Kong with Linda Hamilton, which has a really bad reputation, which I thought was really cheesy and stupid, but in a hilarious way. So yeah, it's from the 80s, I believe. So yeah. Then we have some shark films. Sharknado, I've seen this once. I laughed my ass off, so I thought, well, I should get this. Not too sure about the sequels. Might give them a shot eventually, but as of now, I'm just gonna rewatch this and see if I'm maybe gonna give the other ones a shot. But yeah. Then we have a film called Shark Night, and pretty cool looking cover art. This is from 2011, so yeah, might be good. Oh, this one I've only heard really bad things about. And the movie is called Killer Ants. Yeah, probably some cheap CGI looking creatures. So yeah. Then we have another one of those, Mega Piranha. Yeah, CGI crap fest probably. Then we have the Coed and the Zombie Stoner. Looks absolutely awful, but that's the main reason why I wanted to get this, because I want to see how bad it is. So, and this was very cheap as well, so I decided to pick it up. Then we have Stephen King's The Stand. I also want to get a hold of Golden Years and the Langoliers. I can never pronounce that. And also the Tommyknockers. Those are the ones that I'm after as well. I've been told this is somewhat dated, but then again, it's like a Stephen King story, so it might be really good. This runs for 6 hours, so yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna take a lot of time. Then we have the early 2000s film called Vlad. This is with Billy Zane. I think even Billy Zane. No, it's. Oh, wait a minute. Is Brad Dourif in this one as well? That's what I did not know. Brad Dourif is in this one as well, so that's always a plus. So yeah, Vlad. Then we have a slasher from the late 90s, actually a German slasher, I believe, and the movie is called Schools Out. Yeah, with a real weird looking mask. Looks like a mask covered in blood or something. Then we get some Lucio Fulci action sleaze, probably, because the film is called Perversion Story. Yeah, Lucio Fulci was the main reason why I wanted to pick that one up. And the next two are like NonSploitation films. Might have to do this because otherwise YouTube will probably block me or something. Behind Convent Walls. So yeah, NonSploitation. Then we have another NonSploitation film called School of the Holy Beast. This is one that I've been like on the hunt for like ages and never seem to find it anywhere. So yeah. And then we have some 70s film by... I am pretty sure... Yeah, this is by Umberto Lenzi. Spasmo. I wanted to get a hold of the 88 Films release, but that was pretty hard to come across, so I settled with this release instead. This is a release by Shriek Show, so yeah, that's what you get. So yeah. Now let's see, I have to move this stack away and go to the next stack, which we have right here. So the next one is called Nightmare Hostel. This definitely has another title to it. I can't really remember the other title, but what had me convinced was it says, warning, contains scenes of graphic horror and violence and nudity. I mean, it looks really brutal just based on the cover art as well. So, but I have pretty high hopes because I think, yeah, this is an asylum film. So, yeah, it's probably going to be shit, but still might be some hilariously bad things in it. Then we have a film, let's see, The Curse of Elsharrow. Yeah, very generic cover art in my opinion, but yeah, might still be good. Then we have a film called Atrocious, which is pretty much a blind buy. Some ghost film, takes found footage film. Hey, wait a minute, it's a Spanish found footage film. I didn't know about that before actually, but yeah, gonna be interesting to check that one out. This one had such a weird ass cover art that I just had to pick it up. Flight to Hell. Look at that weird cover art. So many things going on in that, so I had to pick it up. Then we have a film with Paul Naschy called 7 Murders for Scotland Yard. Yeah, I think that might be a pretty hard film to come across. Then we have a film by Jim Wynorski, of course, the Sleaze Master, who I just basically call him. I mean, he and Fred Olden Ray just feels like Sleaze Masters at this point. So the first one. What am I talking about? The movie is called Vampirella. Yeah, it's down to that label. What's it called? The Vampire Collection. So yeah. Then we have this film I actually did have before. I had the Anchor Bay release of this, but I decided to pick this one up again because this is released by Code Red. Neon Maniacs. Very like kind of misleading cover art to be honest, but even though that, I mean, the cover art is really great, and I really think the film is such a cheesy, fun 80s type film in general. So yeah, Neon Maniacs. Then we have Guillermo del Toro in his film called The Devil's Backbone. Yeah, early 2000s, I believe, 2002, at least according to the back of that DVD. And then we have Wicked with Julia Stiles. This might be more of a thriller than a straightforward horror film, but I just read a little bit about it and it felt like it had some sort of horror elements to it. So yeah, I still put it in this section of the video. And then we have another one of those hardcore releases. And the film is called The Child. This is from the late 70s, early 80s. Might be I can be so wrong. I thought this was a trauma film. I could be so wrong about that, but yeah, The Child. Then we have the film called Transformations from the 80s, 88 or 89, I believe. yeah, pretty much a blind buy. I don't really know too much about it, but yeah, 80s horror film. Can't go wrong with that. Then the last, not the last, but the next 4 films are actually trauma films. So yeah, Frostbiter. This is such a hilarious, funny film. I was laughing in so many sequences of this because of how bizarre and weird it is, and like it's such a fun film. It's very hard to explain or like describe if you haven't seen it yourself. But Frostbiter, mid-90s fun trauma film. Check it out if you're a fan of trauma films. So yeah, Frostbiter. Then we have a film called Screenplay. I think this is considered one of the better trauma films if you don't count the classics, of course, like The Toxic Avenger, Class of 1984. Class of 1994, what's it called? No, Class of Nukem High, sorry. So yeah, Screenplay. I always wanted to see this, so yeah. Then we have a film called No Way Back from the early 90s. This cover art is pretty forgettable in my opinion, but yeah. I haven't really heard anyone talk about that one, so yeah. Then we have a film with Clint Howard and PJ Soles called Merchants of Death. This is known as something else as well, but I can't really remember the title right now, but yeah. Really weird looking cover art, so yeah. Another trauma film. Oh, I figured out we've been talking for almost 40 minutes, so I had to speed up a little bit. So I decided to start with the non-horror titles for the Blu-rays, so yeah. The first one is La Banda del Truccio, which I don't really remember the English title of because they never showed me that on the back of the DVD or Blu-ray. So yeah, that's really annoying, but yeah, if you recognize the title, yeah, like I said before, just look it up. Then we have a film by Sergio Martino with Thomas Millian and Mel Ferrer called Silent Action. 70s Italian. I mean, I've been very interested in like Italian crime type films in general, like from the 70s in general lately. So yeah, here we go again. Thomas Millian again, and Henry Silva in Umberto Lenz's film called Free Hand for a Tough Cop. Yeah, I think this might be limited in some way, but. Is this 88 Films? No, it's not. That's really weird. I have no idea what company that brought that out, but yeah. Then we have Joe D'Alessandro in the film called The Climber. This actually is an error release, so yeah. Italian stuff. And then we have Duke Mitchell's film called Gone with the Pope, which is released by Grindhouse. I think this might be, yeah, this is the one. This was like lost for like ever, and then like someone found it and they decided to release it. So this was made sometime in the 70s, but didn't get released until like 2011 or 2012. That is really interesting in itself, in my opinion. So yeah, Gone with the Pope. The next one is directed by the same guy. The movie is called Massacre, Mafia Style. Yeah. Let's see, then we have some Vinegar Syndrome stuff. This is a limited edition. The movie is called Fortress of America. Yeah, 80s action schlock, probably. So, yeah. Then we have these two, Break-In and Break-In 2. Both of these are canon films, I believe, that was made during the 80s. Some sort of breakdance type films, both of these. So yeah, Break-In and Break-In 2. Then we have this one. I collect those retro film releases in general. This film is called The Crying Game. Never seen, but only heard really good things about. Then we have the original film called Clash of the Titans. Not the newer one. This is from the early 80s. So yeah. Then we have another early 80s film called Blame It on Rio. Yeah, 83 or 84 on that one, I believe. Then we have two Western films. The first one being Showdown. I love the fact that you can see like it's like the German title up front right here, and then it just says Showdown. Yeah, that's the that's the English title of the film. So, yeah. Let's in the last. Western film is called Land Raiders with Telly Savalas. So yeah. Now finally we are at the last part of this video, which means there's the horror Blu-ray films that I picked up. First one is Schlock. This is a horror comedy made by John Landis from the... This has to be 70s, right? Yeah, early 70s, 73 according to these release. So yeah, Schlock, about some killer monkey. I believe my good friend the Cryptic Cinema made a review of that quite recently, so if you want to know more about that, check out his review. So the next one is a film by the notorious Eli Lommel, who made so many awful serial killer films in the 90s, early 2000s. But this is one that is considered one of his best. The film is called The Devonsville Terror. This is an 88 Films release, and I figured I should pick this one up because the DVD I had before had a pretty bad picture quality. I mean, really bad. It's sort of like the old Vipco release type deal, but the Swedish version of that. So, but anyway, The Devonsville Terror, apparently one of his best ones. I've not seen the film myself yet, but yeah, I really like his film called Boogeyman. So I thought, well, 80s Eli Lommel might be good. So then I picked up this one again. I already had this in a double pack along with Grave Robbers by the same director. The main reason I wanted to get a hold of this was because I was such a big fan of this one, and I mean, finally this one I found it for a good price. So yeah, Cemetery of Terror. If you like Fulci type zombie films, go check this one out. This is sort of like the Mexican version of that. So yeah, Cemetery of Terror, really amazing, really awesome film, which I think more people should give a shot or like check out. So then we have the next one, which might not really be a straightforward horror film, but like horror sci-fi type deal. Saturn 3 with Kirk Douglas and Farrah Fawcett and Harvey Keitel of all people. So yeah. Then we have Dario Argento's Trauma. I think this might be the very first time this was released in Sweden, really. I mean, on any like copy, really. This one I've seen before, and I thought this was very underrated. I mean, of course, it's nowhere near as good as his best work, but I mean, considering this might be one of the first Dario Argento films made in the U.S., this is really entertaining. I thought it was a little too long, if I remember correctly, and I didn't care too much for Asia Argento's acting in this, but overall I thought this was a really interesting type of film. So yeah, Trauma by Dario Argento. Then we have Eye of the Cat. Yeah, this is a 60s, early, yeah, 69 this came out, so yeah, about some killer cat or something, probably, so yeah. And then this one I had on DVD, not DVD, I had this on, I had this on VHS, and I actually made a review of that when I had the VHS, but the VHS was in bad shape, it was so much tracking problems and stuff, so I was so glad when I finally found this one, because this release I've been looking for quite some time. The movie is called Shallow Grave. Very underrated film. If you haven't seen it and you like 80s horror type films or exploitation films in general, check this one out. This is really entertaining. So yeah, Shallow Ground. Then we have another funny 80s horror film because it's more funny, really. Yeah, Hack O Lantern. Yeah, love this cover art, and this is released by Massacre Video, and here we have the cover art on the main Blu-ray. Really funny film. If you like cheesy 80s horror films, go check that one out. It's sort of like a So Bad It's Good type deal. Then we have another Massacre Video release of the film called Enter the Devil. Yeah, looking really awesome. That's so weird because I think it says on the back of this that this is like rated PG or something, which is just baffling to me, but yeah. Then we have Black Candles. Yeah. And the last thing for this update video is going to be Forgotten Giallo Volume 2 right here, which comes with The Girl in Room 2A, The French Sex Murders, and My Dear Killer. not seen any of these before, and I don't have had any of these before, like I told you in my previous update video. So yeah. Oh my god, I've been talking for almost 46 minutes now, so I'm gonna end it right there. This might be my longest update video of all time, so I'm just gonna end it at that. Well, anyway, keep your eyes open for the next video if you want to know more. If you want to know more, if you want to watch more material or like more videos from me. So yeah, do that, and yeah, I'll see you as soon as possible for the next time. So yeah, take care, and yeah.